When we no longer need certain media, we need to dispose of it securely. We need to ensure that it's impossible for someone else to ever gain access to our data. And this really goes both for electronic and paper data. Remember, the attacker will look for the weakest link. It doesn't matter if we have all the electronic security precautions in place, if they can just dig through our trash and find the data they need. Paper disposal have standards we need to adhere to for our industry. And there are companies that are licensed and bonded to do that. They bring you a secure locked container, you put all your sensitive paperwork in it, and every week, 2 weeks, a month, they come by, pick it up, and dispose of it securely. If you can't afford this, and this is not something your company wants to do, at least make sure that you cross-thread the paper, not just single file. Technology has advanced so far that it's pretty easy just to feed shredded paper into a scanner and reassemble the paperwork. How we dispose of our digital data depends on what media it's contained on. Many people believe that if you delete a file and you empty the trash can, it's gone forever. You and I obviously know that's not true at all. All it does is it removes the pathway to the file, and until it's overwritten, it's still very much there. The same really goes for formatting a drive. All it does is puts a new file structure over the old one. All the files are still there until they're overwritten, which then magically leads us into overwriting data. If the drive is still functional and actually working, overwriting the data is an option. What the overwriting does is it bit for bit on every single bit on the drive writes it over with either all zeros or random zeros and ones. Since it hits every single bit, no data should be recoverable. And take that with a grain of salt. As far as we know, it's not recoverable. That by no means that it's not. But if you have a damaged drive, that's obviously not an option. In that case, you need destruction. So if we look at data destruction, a common type is degaussing, but remember it only works on certain media. It's a very good choice for spinning disks. It wouldn't do anything on an SSD disk. This is what you see when the hacker in the movie throws a hard disk in the microwave, it pops and fizzles a few times, and then the data is gone. That is technically possible, and it can alter or destroy a lot of the data, but a lot of tests have shown it is still possible to recover some of the data. A degausser is very similar to a microwave, it's just much stronger. It's really just a huge electromagnet that produces a strong magnetic field, which then scrambles all the ones and zeros on the magnetic drive. This often also destroys the integrity of the drive. It can't be put back into production. So for all our damaged drives, or if we're just wanting to be extra safe, we can use disk crushers, shredders, or a little bit more extreme measures. Disk crushers are exactly what they sound like, they crush the disk. This is often used on spinning disks after you've degaussed them. What they do is they push multiple pieces of metal through the disk, breaking it up to smaller pieces. After the disk is crushed, it's mostly in pieces that are an inch or two in size, or 2 to 5 centimeters. A disk shredder is a little bit different. It does pretty much the same as a paper shredder does, just on metal. They ensure a higher degree of destruction, and they ensure no data remanence on SSD drives. Whereas a degausser and a disk crusher can be purchased for $3,000 to $10,000 each, a disk shredder is more expensive. Even large organizations rarely have them. But just like anything else, you can pay your way out of it. Just like the company that comes and picks up your sensitive paperwork and destroys it, you can pay for the same with disks. A licensed and certified company will pick up your disks and certify that they've been destroyed or destroy them at your location. Incineration, pulverization, melting, or acid, I've never worked in any places where they've had that. It does sound pretty cool, but unless your data is really sensitive, I don't think it will be used. But it does very much secure full data destruction. In many places, it is common to use multiple types of data destruction just to ensure there is no remanence. But that obviously requires that it's possible. You can't overwrite a damaged disk. You can't degauss an SSD drive. While multiple types of data destruction might not really be necessary, it's a lot cheaper than getting $1 million fine, losing proprietary technology, or state secrets.